Doing anything with a chronic illness can be so incredibly daunting, and homemaking is no exception. You are so tired and in pain, but there's laundry that needs to be done, meals that need cooked, kids who need your attention, and a house that needs washed, vacuumed, mopped, dusted. You get the idea. Trust me, I get it. I have been dealing with chronic disease for over a decade, and it is so hard. But what if the thought of taking care of your house and family didn't overwhelm you to the very core? I firmly believe that you can be a good homemaker even with a chronic illness, and I'm going to share 3 steps that can help. First, we are going to talk about how to make success as a homemaker as simple and easy as possible. Then we will talk about ways to honor your body's needs, and finally, how to improve the thoughts that might be fueling your stress. Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by everything that needs to be done that you can't even start? I remember in high school, I was at my friend's house and I was talking to her mom, and I was telling her how my bedroom at the time was so messy that I didn't think I could take care of it. And she said, well, why don't you just break it into chunks and make it less overwhelming? And I said, well, what do you mean? How do I do that? And she said, well, just start with the pile of laundry in one corner and only focus on that, and don't think about anywhere else in your room. And then when that's done, if you have time, you can move on to the next thing, or wait till the next day and work on the pile of papers in the other corner, or whatever else you've got going on, and just break it up into small chunks. At first I thought, am I allowed to do that? But I went home and tried it, and it has been a super helpful way to get out of my head when things are overwhelming. I know it might not feel like only tackling small projects is never going to amount to a clean home, and I'm not saying that it will, but the feeling of accomplishing something, even if it is small, will give you some peace and sometimes some motivation to keep going. Another way that I like to apply this is to be less meticulous with the chore. I don't move my canisters every single time I wipe down my counters, and I don't always get into every corner and under the tables when I sweep my floor. But I feel better knowing that I did something instead of nothing, and the next time I am filling up to it, I can be more thorough. Something else that I have found helpful is to invest in tools that make homemaking easier. For example, a big dust mop can help you sweep faster, or a robot vacuum can take daily sweeping and vacuuming in the main areas off your plate. Things like pre-prepped food, like chopped veggies and bagged salads, can make cooking less time-consuming. But please don't feel like these things are a necessity if they're not in the budget. You can still be successful without them. I also like to have cleaning supplies in multiple places. For example, I have stuff to clean the bathrooms in every bathroom, so I don't have to waste my energy hunting supplies down before I can get the work done. Another way to make success as easy as possible is to simplify everything you can. You can do this in several ways. I'm sure you've heard of minimalism and its many benefits. Now, I am not a hardcore minimalist. In fact, I am a maximalist in several ways. But getting rid of excess things that you don't need means that there is less to take care of, and it really can be helpful. I also like to simplify meals. I try to keep the meals on my meal plan as easy to put together as possible. I do love to cook, so on the days I'm feeling okay, I will venture a bit, but I never plan super difficult meals because I rarely know when a bad day is going to strike. And I also have a list of super simple meals for the days that I'm feeling really crummy. Speaking of lists, you might consider keeping lists of everything. Meals, chores, thoughts and ideas you have throughout the day, things you want to accomplish, etc. If you have a chronic disease, there's a good chance that you deal with or have dealt with brain fog, and it is the worst. I have had nights where I have been so tired and tried to think of an easy meal to make the kids and draw a blank. Can't even put my thoughts together enough to boil water for spaghetti or put some toast in the toaster. If you haven't dealt with it before, you might think I'm joking, but I'm not. In this case, lists can be a lifesaver. If you homeschool your kids, it is nice to have a list of documentaries or learning channels on YouTube or websites that you can use when you need a break. If you are using a complete online program for homeschooling, it might not be as big of a necessity, but it could still come in handy. And while we are on the subject of kids, I think the biggest way to set yourself up for success is to teach them how to self-manage as early as possible. Obviously, this is going to depend on their age and capabilities, but teaching them how to put a simple meal together for themselves and training them to entertain themselves can make your life easier. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give them your care and attention, but the sooner they can help fend for themselves, the easier. If I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, my kids will make themselves toast or yogurt parfaits or just get a bowl of fruit and be okay until I am ready to get up. And then on days when I am feeling better, I will make them something more fun. But it does relieve a lot of stress knowing that they can take care of themselves if they need to. I know if you have younger kids, this isn't as helpful, but I promise the day will come when they will be able to be more helpful. Do you ever feel guilty that you are neglecting your home or your family because of your health? Or maybe you are taking care of your home and family, but it's at the expense of your health? I remember feeling like it had to be either or, and whether I chose to push through the pain and take care of my family and home, or take care of myself and neglect my home and family, it felt like the wrong choice, and I felt miserable, stressed, and guilty. It took years for me to understand how to balance both of those needs, and if you aren't there yet, I can't promise a quick fix, but I can give you some pointers. The first thing is to get clear on what are the most important things to you. I realized a long time ago that always having a clean home wasn't going to be in the cards for me, and that's okay. If I spent all my energy on keeping things clean and put together, then I didn't have any energy left over for my family. It's important to figure out one or two things that you would like to accomplish, even on the bad days. And for me, it was just spending quality time with God, my husband, and my kids, and then I can let go of the rest. If you don't feel like you need to get stuff done, then you won't feel so guilty when it doesn't happen. And if you allow your mind to rest with your body, the rest will have a much bigger impact. On days that you wake up with a little more energy, then you can get more stuff done. At first, I would get excited when these days came and would cram as much productivity into them as I could, but every time I would end up burning myself out and crashing faster and harder than if I had taken things a bit slower. So you do have to find a balance, because if you don't get anything done, then you're more likely to feel overwhelmed by things in the future. So just pace yourself. Aside from getting chores and things done on the good days, also make sure you spend some time doing things that you love. Go outside, draw a picture, bake a yummy treat, and hang out with a good friend. Whatever it is that fills your cup, do it. Another way to honor the needs of your body is to feed yourself nourishing foods, as many as you can. Sometimes it's not possible, or you might not have the brain power to worry about it, but when you can, try to eat things that nourish your body. And try to eliminate toxins from your home where possible. I say this with caution because you can't eliminate every toxin. Like, what even is a toxin? And you can really make yourself crazy trying to. We are trying to lessen our stress, not add to it. But simple swaps, like changing out your cleaning products to more natural cleaning products, if you feel up to it, is a great place to start. Don't worry, I'm not about to tell you that your illness is all in your head, though I am sure you have heard that at least once in your life, and if not, you are very lucky. But sometimes I do think that the way we think can worsen how we feel, either physically or mentally. And when you have a chronic illness, it can affect every part of your life. It is hard not to feel stress or guilt or whatever awful feeling that comes with not being able to live life normally. So here are a few mindsets that can be helpful. Number one is don't let your illness define you. It is not a part of your personality. It is a trial that you have to deal with. And number 2, give yourself grace. I know you've heard it a lot, but it is so important. Don't expect yourself to have a perfect home or to be a perfect mom or to be perfect at your job or whatever it is. And number 3, when it comes to homemaking, having a clean house and home-cooked meals every night are not the things that make your home a home. Sure, they are nice, but there are so many factors that go into creating a home, and the biggest one is the love that is within the walls and the feeling of safety and peace and belonging that you cultivate for your family. If you struggle with chronic illness, wherever you are in your journey, you're doing great. And if you've picked up any other tips along the way that I haven't mentioned, please feel free to share them below.